Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, Just Another Medic. My name is Jandu, and in this video we'll be talking about different types of insulin that are used in type 1 diabetes. Initially, we'll talk about the time of action that different insulins take, brand names versus generic names, the different regimens that are involved in insulin management, and the targets that patients need to set for their blood glucose levels. Insulin can be divided into 4 different categories: rapid, regular, intermediate, and long-acting insulin. It's important that you know the difference between these 4 types, as the peak action and the duration differ. Rapid-acting insulin starts to work within 5 to 10 minutes and peaks within 30 to 90 minutes. Regular-acting insulin starts to work within 30 minutes to an hour and peaks within 2 to 5 hours. Intermediate-acting insulin starts to work within 1 to 2 hours and peaks between 4 to 12. Long-acting insulin takes about 1 to 2 hours to start acting, however it has no peak. It can last the whole day for 24 hours. Moving on to brand name versus generic name. Now this is a concept I struggled with, as in medical school they always teach you with generic names, whereas in real life practice in hospitals they use brand names of insulins for prescription. Let's go through a few examples of different types of insulins to learn the generic and brand names. Examples of rapid-acting insulins include Aspartate and Lispro. Aspartate is otherwise known as Novolog and Lispro as Humalog. Regular insulin is known as Humulin R or Novolin R. Intermediate insulin is known as Humulin N and Novolin N. Detamir and Glargine are examples of long-acting insulins. Detamir is otherwise known as Levemir and Glargine is known as Lantus. Sometimes you can see a brand name of an insulin with a number, such as Humulin 7030. That number signifies that this is a mixed type of insulin. For example, Humulin 7030 contains 70% of intermediate-acting insulin and 30% of regular-acting. Another example is Humalog 7525, where there is 75% of lipoprotein, which is an intermediate-acting insulin, and 25% of Lispro, which is a regular-acting insulin. These mixed type of insulins allow you to establish both a fast onset and a long duration. The first line for the management of type 1 diabetes is a basal bolus regimen. In this type of insulin, you give 1 or more intermediate or long-acting insulin as a basal dose and a bolus dose before meals. If a basal bolus regimen doesn't work for the patient, you can move to a mixed or biphasic regimen. This regimen involves giving several short-acting or intermediate-acting insulin over the day. If neither of these regimens have worked, you can move on to an insulin pump, which delivers insulin subcutaneously according to the patient's blood glucose levels. In addition to insulin, patients also need to monitor the diet. Under the NHS, all type 1 diabetics are referred to something called DAPNE, which stands for Dose Adjusted for Normal Eating. DAPNE allows patients to understand how diet affects their blood glucose levels and adjust accordingly. Continuous blood glucose monitoring is required when a patient is put on insulin, as their insulin dose may need to be adjusted according to their blood glucose levels. On waking up, the patient's blood glucose levels should be above 5 but below 7. Before eating, it should be between 4 and 7, and 90 minutes after eating, it should be between 5 and 9. When driving, the patient's blood glucose levels should be above 5 to avoid any hypoglycemia accidents. That's all we have for this video. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. If you did, please give a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching.